The boy stood at the edge of the gas station parking lot, his small hands gripping the rusted handlebars of a child-sized bicycle that had clearly seen better days. Trucks thundered past on a highway. A pack of leather-clad bikers rumbled on heavy machines, and hunger hollowed his face far more deeply than fear ever could. He had already asked 3 strangers and been ignored by all of them. Still, he took a breath and stepped forward again, because somewhere nearby his mother lay weak, having not eaten in 2 days, and this bike was the last thing he had left to offer the world. Before the story goes any further, pause for just a moment. If you believe in silent heroes and second chances, and in the power of kindness that appears when least expected, please like this video, share it with someone who still believes in humanity, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. These stories live because people like you choose to carry them forward. The boy's name was Caleb Johnson, and he was only 9 years old. He lived with his mother, Mary Johnson, in a rundown motel on the outskirts of a small town in the United States. It was a kind of place where the lights flickered, the paint peeled, and hope felt temporary. Mary had once lived a different life. She was a church-going woman, steady and warm, married to a man who worked construction, and dreamed of owning a small home with a porch and a garden. That life ended the night her husband was killed in a highway accident caused by a drunk driver who never stopped. Grief came first, then medical bills, then legal delays, and finally the slow, crushing loss of everything they owned. Mary tried to hold on. She worked 2 jobs until her health failed, prayed through the nights, and shielded Caleb from the worst of their reality. But there came a season when prayer felt like shouting into the wind, and the cupboard stayed empty no matter how hard she tried. A dishonest landlord took their savings. A fraudulent charity promised help, and vanished with the little money she had left. By the time they reached the motel, Mary was exhausted in a way sleep could not fix. She stopped eating so Caleb could. When he asked why, she said she wasn't hungry, but her body told a different story. The bicycle had been Caleb's Christmas gift years earlier, back when joy came wrapped in paper instead of sacrifice. It was chipped and bent now, the chain squeaking with every turn, but it represented childhood, freedom, and better days. Selling it felt like giving up the last piece of normal life. Still, when Mary fainted from weakness, Caleb made a decision no child should ever have to make. He cleaned the bike as best he could, wiped the seat with his shirt, and pushed it toward the gas station where travelers stopped, hoping someone would see more than rust. The bikers were not the kind of men people usually trusted. They wore black leather, heavy boots, and carried a reputation of danger before they ever spoke. Their engines roared like thunder as they parked, drawing looks of unease from everyone nearby. Caleb hesitated, fear tightening his chest, but hunger was louder. He approached them slowly, the bike rolling unevenly beside him, his courage trembling but unbroken. The men noticed him almost immediately. A child like that did not belong in a place like this, especially not alone. His clothes were clean but worn thin, his eyes serious beyond his years. When they realized what he was offering and why, something shifted among them. Laughter faded. The world quieted in a way that happens only when reality interrupts assumptions. These men had been judged their entire lives by appearances, and now a child stood before them carrying a story heavier than any engine they rode. Caleb explained in simple, careful words that his mother had not eaten in 2 days, and that he wanted to help her. He did not beg. He did not cry. He simply stated the truth, because truth was all he had left. The bikers exchanged looks, the kind that carried unspoken understanding. Many of them had known hunger. Many had known loss. Some had been children like Caleb once, invisible and underestimated. What happened next was not loud or dramatic. It was quiet and deliberate. They bought the bike, not for what it was worth, but for far more. One of them gave Caleb food from inside the station. Another asked where his mother was. Within minutes, engines that once symbolized intimidation became instruments of protection. They followed Caleb back to the motel, not as strangers, but as witnesses. Mary was barely conscious when they arrived. The room smelled of stale air and despair, the kind that settles when hope has been postponed too long. When she woke and saw the men, fear flickered briefly, then confusion, then tears she could no longer hold back. The bikers listened as her story unfolded, piece by piece. They learned about the accident, the scams, the people who took advantage of her faith and desperation. They learned who had taken everything from her, and their silence grew heavy with purpose. These men did not believe in empty gestures. They believed in action. Over the next days, they returned. They brought groceries, paid for medical care, and connected Mary with legitimate legal help. One of them knew a pastor who ran a real outreach program, not a promise wrapped in lies. Another knew an employer who did not mind a woman rebuilding her life. They did not post about it. They did not seek praise. They simply did what needed to be done. Mary's recovery was slow, but it was real. Strength returned to her body, then to her spirit. Caleb watched his mother smile again, a fragile, sacred thing that felt like a miracle. The bike was gone, but something greater replaced it. Safety, dignity, community. The bikers checked in even after things stabilized, not out of obligation, but out of bond. They had learned that courage sometimes comes in the form of a hungry child pushing a broken bike. If this story is reaching your heart right now, if it reminds you that help can come from unexpected places, take a moment to engage. Like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and let this message travel further than fear ever could. Years later, Mary stood on her feet again, working steadily and volunteering to help others avoid the traps she fell into. Caleb grew into a young man who never forgot, who showed up when the world looked away. He learned that heroes do not always wear clean clothes or friendly faces, and that kindness does not ask permission to exist. Just before this story ends, please leave a comment below and share what part of this journey moved you the most. Your words matter more than you know. The bikers rode on, carrying a quiet truth with them wherever the road led. That sometimes the smallest voice carries the biggest story, and sometimes redemption begins with a child brave enough to ask for help and adults brave enough to answer.